I beat every boss in Cuphead using only Lobber and Twin Heart Charm, including the DLC. But first, let's get some rules. I cannot go under 3 lives. I can only use Lobber and Twin Heart Charm, nothing else. And every boss is done on expert mode. I don't have to S rank also, and time does not matter. But let's get on with the video. The first boss in the game, and the easiest, is the Root Pack. Now, this challenge is a very hard challenge as we get later on, but right now it's not really that hard. And as you can see here, it gets kind of boring at the starting parts, just because there's nothing to do. So I will take this moment to say that if you like Cuphead content, go check out my Cuphead playlist of all of my Cuphead videos on my channel. If you like Cuphead content, it really supports me and helps me out, and just thank you for support. Now, as we get back into here, we're getting to the actual hardest part of the Root Pack, because you have to aim up, and that's just not Lobber's specialty, as why Lobber Saltbaker is so hard. But now we just keep jumping up and down, because you can actually hit it twice. If you jump and shoot perfectly, you can actually hit it twice instead of just hitting it with one. And also EXs are just really OP with Lobber. Like, I don't know why, but Lobber EXs are just insanely good. Like, they just do so much damage. And there is the knockout. I will also show every result screen, just so you know that what I got and how fast I did it, if you just want to see that stuff, because sometimes it's always nice. But now next we will be getting on to Goopy Legrand. Next, another tutorial boss, Goopy Legrand, or Goopy Legrand. I really don't know, just don't scream at me in the comments or something. But anyways, this one was decently easy for most starting phases, because most of the time he is still on the ground, so you are able to still shoot him. And after that, he even gets bigger, which makes it easier to hit shots. Like, I really do not find the point of the second phase. As long as you keep dodging barely in the second phase, you actually hit him easier and deal more damage. So I am personally fine with the second phase, more because I am very used to most dodges in Cuphead, because I'm pretty good at Cuphead. So that's just what I do. Now, here, the only scary phase really is this last phase, but like, is it really that scary? You just jump and then dash when he's coming towards you, like, the second time over. Like, see, he's going to dash here, and then right here, then he's going to do it. He always just does it when he passes you the second or third time. And it just is really easy of a boss. And we will get onto this Goopy's results screen now, as we soon get on to Hildeberg. The first non-tutorial boss of this challenge is Hildeberg. Now, I won't be using Lobber for this boss fight, because it's an air level, but I will be using Twin Heart Charm. Right now, I just noticed that I could use bombs for, like, the instance of a Lobber, but I just noticed that now I am doing voiceovers already, so I kind of can't really add that in right now, so I won't be doing that yet. I guess, I don't know, I might do that in the future or something, but I'm not doing it right now. But this boss is pretty easy, but always make sure to kill the little green ones. It takes a few shots to kill them annoyingly with Twin Heart Charm, so that's what makes it pretty bad, and it always just disrupts everything at the moment. I missed that parry there, leading me to get an extra shot on whatever zodiac sign this is. I don't pay attention to those zodiac signs, and making this phase a little bit harder. But if it's ever just green and purple, then always just kill the green, parry the purple. Because it will always be a parryable purple shot, and then as long as you kill the green, it's just really easy to get it. And make sure while she's transforming, do not use any EXs or supers. You can use it before, you can use it after, but not while she's doing this transformation, or else it will not do damage. Because all it is charges to the meter, but it's a phase transition and you cannot do damage. I missed that star there, which I'm a little embarrassed about, kind of. And I also just get hit again because I'm spamming in, trying to like kill her as fast as I can, I guess. But now I'm playing a little bit safer, getting parries, hitting her with just regular EXs, doing what I regularly do, but I'm not trying to get hit. But I'm just going to keep going and get this easy, pretty easy knockout S rank on Hildeberg, and on to the next one, which according to the boss list will be Cagney Carnation. Another thing is that my voiceovers, like, I'm always so nitpicky with them, even though, like, I feel like I sound a little bit bad always, and I'm so nitpicky with them, that, like, I'm probably not going to listen to this voiceover, just probably because I just want to move on. This video takes me, like, 3 days to do. I'm pretty sure I did this entire challenge in around 3 days, with, like, I don't know, like, an average of, like, 2 hours each day. So, it was a pretty fast challenge, surprisingly. But, I just, like, always just spend so much time just doing voiceovers that this is going to come out, like, 8 days after I've actually done the challenge. And I also just always have a lot of things, so I never have time for voiceovers. But anyways, I feel like Cagney Carnation on Expert is actually pretty easy, because during the phase where she shoots seeds up into the air and they fall back to the ground, on regular there's little seeds that spawn on the bottom. Well, there's not even that in Expert for some weird reason. Like on the root pack, how there are 3 shots on regular for the carrot, but on Expert there's only 2. Now, this is a pretty easy boss fight, otherwise in the last phase, because I got like hit twice in the last phase for some weird reason. And the only bad thing is that you have to aim a little bit up to actually hit her, or him. I don't know. I always mess up the genders on Cagney Carnation, personally. I always thought it was a girl, then I realized it was a guy, and then I'm pretty sure it's a guy. I never know. But anyways, I get that knockout, and we are going to move on to the actual one of the hardest ones to S rank with this loadout in the first aisle, Ribby and Croaks. In advance, I'm also sorry for that watermark down there, by the way. But anyways, you know I said S rank there, and that's because for all the but 1 bosses, I S ranked them just for an extra little challenge, because I thought it would be good. But now, as we keep moving forward in this, these little fireflies are absolutely horrible, while also trying to deal damage, because you have to aim up, which, as anybody who's known Lobber Saltbaker, is not very fun for, yeah, just aiming up with Lobber, not very fun. But you still get through the phases pretty fast. The second phase is way easier than the first one. And this took me a long while just because of the time. Like, it takes, like, you never hit shots during last phase, so it takes forever. And unlike this, and I'm hoping that I get this voiceover on the first attempt, as this is the first attempt. But right now, he swallows his brother, friend, whole, I don't know if frogs and toads can be brothers, probably not. But anyways, they swallow each other whole, and I'm surprised. Like, my performance was pretty good. I stayed pretty forward the entire time. Like, look at those dodges. Those are some good dodges. Like, I'm surprised I did that myself while I was doing this in the game, I'm pretty sure. And, the ball, hell, demon things is always bad when you go on, because you have to, like, always have to deal damage while also shooting, which makes it very hard. Now, I just keep dodging the coins, which are decent harder on expert than regular, which I'm fine with. Now here I don't stand as forwards as much like I did last time. Like, I'm not doing that gaming move, but I'm also because I got knockout in them directly in the middle, and got that final S rank, 1 second less on Ribby and Croaks, and that's all the Inkwell 1 bosses. Now we're on to Inkwell Isle 2, and we started off with Sugarland Shimmy. Oh yeah, this one is kind of annoying actually, because a lot of the time you have to aim up during the last phase, which makes it an absolute hell. But Mr. Jawbreaker goes down pretty easily because he's like I'm pretty sure he's like the easiest boss here. All he does is just follow you around, and that's all. Now, usually Gumball Machine's pretty easy in my opinion. Don't usually die. And I also usually get a parry off the jelly beans on him, so that's pretty good. I do get hit though, like directly at the end, which is very good. And you can actually stall a lot of the lava shots there, which makes it really good just to easily kill the minions very fast. Like, you kill the minions almost immediately, and it just makes it a lot easier. Now that's second mini boss done. Or third? Was that third? Actually, oh my god, I went through all those mini bosses fast. And now we're on to the last and hardest phase. Now you start off by seeing that I don't do actually any EXs well directly under her at the start, because I want to save the EXs for the actual fighting, because I cannot hit her with Lobber during actual fighting usually. And so if I save the EXs for the actual fighting, it means I can hit her more during actual fighting and still get a few lava shots off while waiting for phase transition. Now, this is pretty easy still, and it did take me a little bit of a while, not too much though, and is honestly decently hard for a boss in this challenge. And I would recommend just make sure stalling if you're ever going to do this on your own. But now we're moving on to the next boss in Inkwell Isle 2, which is Beppy the Clown. Now Beppy, I kind of forget what I did now that I'm doing this voiceover, but I found it, I'm pretty sure, decently hard when I did it. I mean, like, I always find the light bulb is decently hard during this phase, and I usually don't shoot the ducks here if I'm playing regularly, and I always make sure to get that parry. Now I just shoot up, obviously, just get a few extra shots off, and then I just basically spam EXs for this phase and get hit accidentally. Like in a parry, you know, casual. And just keep EXing until it finally dies, and we get on to the horse donkey phase, and I get yellow on the start, which is pretty lucky, I guess, because I personally like the yellow one more than the green one, because I find green really hard to dodge just off of the movement of the horseshoes. Now, I'm trying to just always stay in one spot whenever there is the yellow one, just because it makes it a lot easier. Now I have to aim up, and I get the final kill for that donkey phase right then, and right after I get off this train, I immediately start to shoot up, and it just gets a ton of extra damage in for the last phase, which is totally insanely better. Now I just keep shooting forward with Lobber EX and making sure that I never go onto the left side usually, because it just stops a decent amount of damage. Even though I do go up sometimes, because the penguins are actually kind of annoying, just with their baseballs. But I do get that knockout pretty fast, and they can get not as annoying. And now, next, we will be on, I'm pretty sure, the Genie the Great. Next, we have the Genie the Great. I honestly do not know how to say his name because, yeah. And I really do not like this boss. I'm pretty sure the first time I ever fought this boss, which was when I was really bad at Cuphead. Like, when I first played the game, I was extremely bad at Cuphead, right? Like, we all were if we first played Cuphead, usually. Unless you're, like, an actual YouTuber that filmed it. Because for some reason, they're always, like, the best at everything. But anyways, now, as we just keep moving on, this took me, like, 2 hours on my first playthrough. And it wasn't even, like, the longest boss. Pretty sure that goes to, like, Grim Matchstick or something. Because I didn't have Lobber when I fought him. Anyways, this boss is decently easy just because of how much I have played it for things. Like, I've done a Twin Heart Charm and it damageless, which is in a totally different video. You can go watch it if you want. But this is a decently easy boss, as long as you get some good damage in. And now, here, I'm not going to do the secret phase just because I find no use for the secret phase in this. So, right now we're just going to keep going. He's going to shoot at me. And I always like this phase. I usually use one super and then save one for the last phase on this. It does give me a little bit over an extra card, but I really don't care. And that's just what I did, I think, in this one. Sometimes I use both bombs on this, but this time I saved it. And now here, because I have full health, I accidentally also get hit by the big fat genie face, covering like a third of my screen. And now as Razor starts shooting, I do this just for some invincibility frames, then I just spam EXs and shooting until it gets the knockout, and it's like, well, his teeth are going. He's like, straight teeth, straight white, pearly white teeth. But anyways, now we are on to the fourth boss in Inkwell Isle 2, which, if I am correct, is Grim Matchstick. Now, as you heard from the last one, Grim Matchstick, I'm pretty sure, gave me the most troubles when I first played Cuphead, just because I didn't have Lobber, and Lobber is very good for Grim Matchstick, so this was actually pretty easy. If you go back through this clip, because I use Xbox clips, and they go back, like, I'm pretty sure from, like, 30 seconds to, like, 5 minutes is how long you can do the clips for. At the start of this clip, you see me walking to it from the previous boss. You see me walking to it from the genie. Like, you see me just walk up to it, because I actually first tried this, just because of how good Lobber is for it. And also, I feel like Grim's Matchstick's Expert is a bit easier than its actual regular, because the clouds actually go better during the last two phases on Expert, which is something I really like. I do get hit by that fire at the end there, because I did not do it damageless first try, obviously. That would be very hard. And right now I'm also going to do most of my voiceovers first attempt. So if you hear me stutter or do anything like that, that's just going to be doing it first attempt, because I do not want to spend this much time editing, because that's just a pain. But anyways, we get that knockout. They're standing in their shadows. And we are soon on to the last boss in Inkwell Isle 2, which will be Wally Warbles. Let's get on to it. Now we're on to the last boss in Inkwell Isle 2. Wally Warbles is actually a decently hard boss. I'm pretty sure when I was S-ranking every boss in the game, this one actually took me the longest. I feel like this boss has a very big difference between its regular and its expert phases, because its regular, easiest thing in the world. Like, it was one of the easiest bosses. But on expert, that's real hard, because everything is just turned up to the max. And with 10% less damage. It is a little hard, but I've done this before again. Like the Genie, I've done it damage-less with Twin Heart Charm, so I'm basically fine. Also, for the first voiceovers in one attempt thing, do not, like, annoy me just because I stutter, say something weird or something like that. Just, like, taking time, because I have to take breaths. Like, I cannot just not breathe, I guess, because I won't be alive if I don't breathe. So I sometimes might take breaths in between just randomly saying things. So be wary about that. And also, just kill the child here, obviously, because I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. And surprisingly, he has a lot of health, and I found it pretty easy because just a few easy cycles and you basically kill him. Now get an EX to the bottom there, then just keep moving down because he goes in cycles back and forth. And so basically, go under while he's going backwards, and then go forward while he's going forward. Now I have done this damage list, but I'm not doing it in this because a whole different video, you can go check that out. But this is just with Twin Heart Charm, so that is all it is going to be. Now, we're gonna kill him pretty soon as we get some few last shots, final pill hit, and we will have the knockout with them seasoning their chicken to be cooked and like roasted, smoked, whatever they do with it. But anyways, that is the last boss in the Inkwell Isle 2 with a perfect 2 minutes. And now we are on to Inkwell Isle 3 Rumor Honeybottoms. We are getting almost halfway with this challenge as we get into Inkwell Isle 3's Rumor Honeybottoms. This one actually did take me a while just because I still find the last phase pretty hard, even if I am using something that aims down. Because it's still hard to aim straight down with Lobber, even if you're aiming directly up. But the security guard is like the literal one of the easiest things in the game to beat. Instead of like the only easiest thing is Mangosteen, obviously. But this is like the second or third easiest, if we're not counting like King Dice things. And I get on the Rumor Honeybottoms herself, and this one where she shoots bullet bills is pretty easy. You basically just wait until the bullet bill gets on your level. Then you just duck down one if you need to, jump up if you need to, and it's pretty easy. Now when she spawns the pink cylinder thingies, just run away and parry them if you can. And then she does the bullet bills one twice for me in here, so I'm just gonna keep staying on the top, shooting, going down when it gets onto my level, and then just keep moving. Now we get into this last phase with her spell book, and I get a ton of damage in right before she goes down, just to make the last phase a little bit easier on me. Now I get a few shots off, and she starts it off with a saw hit. Now I try and just get some good damage in, even though it's still pretty hard as I aim up. Now I land that EX on her, and she dies, leaving the first boss in Inkwell Isle 3 done. And now we're on to the next boss in Inkwell Isle 3, Briny Beard. I cannot express to you how much Briny Beard was bad, because you're able to get actually good shots off at the start here. As you can see, I can actually get 2 shots off if I jump closely enough to him. But I did this twice because my first clip just never loaded when I did it. So now I'm back, obviously, and you just gotta keep dodging mainly for the first parts. And you're also able to just go right up next to him, get double hits off, then instead of just getting 1 hit. And this one was decently hard. It was one of the longer ones, if we're not counting like some of the hardest ones in here, like Saltbaker, stuff like that, because those are already hard bosses, so doing them with Lobber and Twin Heart Charm are basically just a pain. Now, you don't ever want to get hit by it, because the ink is like one of the most annoying things if you get hit by it. So I always try killing it because it's just good. Now the rest are pretty easy. Dogfish are only bad if you're like really close to the ship. Shark is like one of the easiest things ever. You literally just go to the front. And then I do get hit there, but I really do not care to restart, even though I usually would, I think, if I get hit before last phase, because last phase is usually not very good if you get hit. Now, we keep moving, and I just keep shooting as much as I can, hoping to get to that final phase, and I do. Now, Captain Briny just falls into the water. Let's hope he can swim so he doesn't drown, even though I'm the one trying to steal his soul. Or, like, get his soul tracked, I guess. It's technically stealing his soul. Like, I could just steal it and then just decide not to give it to the devil and just leave with the souls. But anyways, you basically just duck under it, and then you stay close enough and just jump up and down in that spot, while also trying to dodge the orange balls of fire or whatever those things are. Now we just keep moving forward, jumping from that same exact spot and aiming forward, and we just get a ton of damage in until we get that final killing shot, which is going to be in a while because this boss does have a little bit of health, but it is going to be pretty soon because Lobber does do a decent amount of damage, so we will still kill it pretty fast. But this was one of the longer bosses, and as you can see here, we are getting pretty close to the end. Just keep jumping, dodging, ducking under the laser. I almost get hit here, but the laser ends just close enough so that I do not die. This is kind of a routine. I dodge it there so I don't get hit during the laser. Now right here, we get that knockout with the EX. 2 EX knockouts in a row. Brinybeard and Rumor. And that is the ending of Captain Brinybeard. And it was a 3-minute run, which is pretty long. But anyways, we're on to Sally's stage play. Now, Sally's stage play is honestly pretty easy because 90% of the time she's honestly staying on the floor. Like, she's just standing there, really. The only bad part is when she goes upwards. And now, basically, I just keep standing there, shooting and just EXing because it's just like the easiest way to kill her as fast as you can. I just wait a little dash when she comes down. I actually did almost get hit there because she did land right in front of me. I get the 2 pairs with the 2 hearts there, and then they leave in their wedding car because I didn't decide to do secret phase just because secret phase on most bosses just make them harder. Now the babies are throwing the bottles at me and I'm just jumping up and down. Now this is a pretty easy phase except for the mice usually, and since I do not have smoke dash or invincibility roll for this, it is a little bit hard, but not that hard still, and I get through it decently quickly and easily. Now I just wait for the mice to go, then I get right underneath the Devil Sally and just start shooting at her and just EXing. And for lightning, I just kind of just move back and forth. It's kind of easy. I try and kill the meteor as fast as I can, just in case. And that was an insane dodge. I don't know how that was possible without hitting either Sally or lightning. But see, I always just have it ready, just in case the big wave comes. And then I get that final kill. Now for last phase, it actually is decently hard because it's above you, and anything with lava above you is kind of just horrible. No, EXs are pretty good. I do not get the last parry if I wanted to get anything like a better grade, but all I do need for the challenge is 3 HP in the end, and I do have 5. So this is a viable run because I do have 3 HP in the end, and I used Lobber Twin Heart Charm on Expert, so it is a viable run. Next we are on to Werner Vermin. Now we are on Werner Vermin, whatever you call it. I say Werner Vermin just because it sounds more German in my opinion. I think that's how you say it, like German. But anyways, now I just keep shooting and just EXing, because the first phase still is decently hard to dodge enough. But I do get 2 catapults in a row, which is pretty good, because it just adds a lot of parries, and I've already gotten like 6 probably. Now I get just in the middle, I just spam EXs for second phase, because I find second phase the hardest in this boss fight, personally. Now I just go up and then down. I do accidentally go down a little bit hastily fast there, and hit by fire. Now I do just stand under him for when all those ball caps go, and right now it seems like I am going to get him onto his last phase, and nobody's going to tell me that this is not just Tom and Jerry. Literally, Tom and Jerry in a nutshell. Like, this boss just reminds me of Tom and Jerry, and you cannot prove me otherwise. Now they're shooting their jail mice things at me. The jail mice are actually pretty easy to dodge, and this last phase is like extremely easy. Do not try and fight the jail mice because it's just easier not to do it. Now I get that parry, that final EX, and that knockout. And as you can see here, I beat it on Expert with Lobber, Twin Heart Charm, and still 3 lives left. But anyways, we are on to the next boss, Dr. Call's Robot. Next we're on to Dr. Call's Robot. I find this boss pretty easy, mainly because almost any pro player will tell you that this boss is pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of practice. I feel like a lot of the harder bosses in Cuphead get a lot harder on regular than expert. Like, some of the bosses that are hard, I feel like they don't get that much harder on expert. Yet the easier bosses, not like the tutorial ones, but like anything that's just like regularly easy, actually get pretty hard on expert mode. Hence, like Wally Warbles, like such a like easy regular, really hard expert. Now we get through the final part of that, and we are going to do speedy strats of the second phase, just because I don't want to spend 30 seconds going around everywhere. Now, if you want to have a few tips for this last phase here, number 1, you cannot shoot through the walls. It's just, you cannot. And a lot of people don't notice that, so it's something to note. Also, use your bomb basically whenever he stops shooting. I did it right when he started there, which is just really unlucky for me, and I don't think I actually hit him. I would recommend going for parries if they are within your reach of parrying, like this. And that's basically it. Use mini when you need to, and if you accidentally do get hit and you have a super, do what I did there and just go right next to him and just hit him directly with your bomb. Now, he is going to probably die pretty soon because I have used a lot of supers on him, and I do miss that parry, get hit a little, but he is going to die pretty soon. And I do, even with a full bomb left in my cards. And next, we are on to the second to last boss in Inkwell Isle 3, Calamaria. Now we are on to Calamaria, and we're also, as of I'm pretty sure it was in the middle of Dr. Call's Robot, halfway through the video. The fact that we're halfway through the video, near the end of Inkwell Isle 3, just shows how long some of the bosses are in Inkwell Hell and Inkwell Isle 4. But anyways, we just basically just keep all aim on her face. Make sure that you only shoot her head though, because that is the only part that can be hit. I'm not sure if the octopus can be hit. I honestly forget. I think it can, but I honestly forget. I also love the attention to detail with this boss. Like whenever she you like put your hand up, I guess, like raises her hand, the squid's eyes come to life, which I actually really like, just the attention to detail of this boss. But anyways, we get on to her second Medusa phase, and we immediately start out with a bomb, that's also trying to dodge the stone attack. Now we get a parry there, go down and get a parry, and I also just try and dodge everything. You kind of have to predict when she's going to use her stone attack, and always try and stay in a spot where the eel shots won't hit you in the future, because that makes it just so that you get that last phase done easier. Now we start off the last phase with a good bomb, and almost get hit there as I was frozen. I was staying quiet for a little. But anyways, you keep full steady aim on her head, get out of it, and you just gotta make sure usually to stay to the back while also not trying to get hit by the green skulls. And you just keep full aim, and I get that knockout with 5 HP too, which is honestly very surprising. And we are on to the last boss in Inkwell Isle 3, the Phantom Express. Now we are on to the Phantom Express, and this one did actually take me a good while. The eye phase was actually surprisingly easy, even though it is a pretty big swarm. The lobber somehow killed it, even if it's like a swarm of bugs that's going above your head a lot of the time. It surprisingly worked pretty well. Not as much as something as just like a roundabout to kill it, but it still worked pretty good. Anyways, I accidentally used a second EX there, but I still get the extra parry, and I did miss that first EX, just I was testing, because I somehow didn't get them on my like other 50 attempts of this, to see if you could actually EX without having to do a small jump, because doing a jump and then immediately EXing is pretty hard. Now I just jump up there, and I have 2 EXs for the third phase, which I actually find this phase really hard just because you have to kind of jump and aim up, and I just speedy kill this guy on the right, then start moving to the guy on the left. Now I get the first parry, that was cool, and I would go fully, but then I saw that it was going to go, so I went. Now I get that parry with the ghost, and then just immediately try and start killing. I get that parry, then I look back, hit it, and then keep parrying the ghost, looking back, and then it does move my cart there, which leads into me getting hit, which is pretty annoying, but it's fine. And now we are on to the last phase. The last phase did cause me some troubles because it's very hard to aim up with Lobber, and I accidentally did hit that with my EX there. And the EXs try to keep you alive in this, but it's still very hard to aim them. Now you try and get a lot of parries in this just from the weird soap bar things that they're like dropping. They look like soap bars to me, and I always thought they were soap bars. I do not know what they are, but nothing will convince me that it's not a soap bar. It just looks like soap. But anyways, keep parrying your tail, is shooting upwards, and you get that knockout. And that will be the end of Inkwell Isle 3. And we will be on to Inkwell Hell. Now the first boss in Inkwell Hell is going to be King Dice. I'm mainly going to go for my regular pattern that I do, which is 3-4-8. because that's just the ones I find easiest. And also a tip if you're using Lobber for, I forget his name here, but the cigar basically. You can stand on the edge and still hit him if you're jumping, or I'm pretty sure you can also do it just standing at the direct edge, but it's just easier to jump and also dodge with the jump. No, basically you just keep jumping and shooting, and you use the X's and then save a few, probably 4. You gotta save a few X's for the next boss. But another thing about this is that actually, my thing with Xbox clips, right? Like I said earlier in the video, that they can go up to 5 minutes. This was a more than 5-minute clip just because of all the loading screens and like the S-rank screen. So that means I did do a recording. And we have to just finish up as first boss here, mini boss. But I did a recording, which can go to 10 minutes, but it doesn't go backwards. It's just like a literal recording. It just records forwards. And the reason I mainly don't do that is just because I would much rather just record backwards. And the thing is, like, I have to pre-film it. Like, I gotta know when I am actually going to do it. And I have to reset the film every single time I don't. So anyways, now we're on the 4, which is probably the hardest one out of this. There's no really good middle ones for Lobber. And I'm also not good at, I'm pretty sure his name is Deathlap, if I'm correct. But, yeah, I'm not really good at him. And then also, the other two suck with Lobber because they're both in the air. Well, not one's just high up, I guess. But anyways, now we just shoot basically, and we're doing pretty good, just getting good shots off, just spamming EXs. I accidentally dashed into him. I lost 3 lives just in this one round, because like this is like the hardest mini boss. I'm pretty sure this is actually like the hardest part in this, just because I don't like it. But anyways, now we are moving on to the safe spot. Then we will go to Mangosteen. And Mangosteen is definitely, and I mean definitely, the easiest boss in the game. You could not tell me that Mangosteen is not the easiest boss in the game. You would be lying if Mangosteen wasn't. Because you literally, all you do for Mangosteen is literally look up, aim, shoot, and then dash. Literal only thing you do. You could jump if you want to, like I did here, because like, yeah. But look, I just sit there and then dash, maybe move a little if I need to. But like, it's not really that hard. All you're doing is just aiming on most of the time. And when he shoots his thing that goes to where you were currently, then just, it's easy. You just don't do anything. And it just gets the knockout really fast, because he also doesn't have much health to add on to being really bad. So, it's just good. But anyways, we are on to the final King Dice fight after the next safe spot here. And I've never found the final King Dice phase hard when we're actually fighting King Dice, but like a few people do. And I just know I was just parrying back and forth using a dash or an EX if I need to stall, just because I can't make it without stalling, like because there's too many non-parryable cards in a row. You can use a EX or dash, but sometimes there isn't even that in there. And I just spam EXs, and after parrying I just spam EXs, and it's a really easy boss. So see, and I come with the EX there, and that will be King Dice done with the challenge. And next we will on to the final boss in the original game. the devil. The final boss in the original game, not including DLC, which is later in this video, so don't leave after the end of this boss. And it is decently easy in my opinion. It does not really do anything. It's kind of just for this fight phase. It's pretty easy. Basically, just switch sides. You go on the left side, you go on the right side. You go on the left side, you go on the right side. It's basically just that. Now it's pretty easy to always dodge a good attack just with a good EX. And parry. And you should always try and stand in the middle for this one, even though sometimes the blue bubbles go into the middle. And now I just basically just get a few shots up there, and then I just unload 2 EXs, or actually unload 1. But anyways, now we get into the second phase with this big fat devil face covering up 90% of it. And you basically just gotta know the chip patterns, see if they're going from left to right or right to left, and basically just go off from there. And it's pretty easy, honestly. Always try and parry those nukes of a bat bomb, and just try and get through these phases pretty fast, just because you get a decent amount of parries in the second and third phases. And I found the third phase decently hard, actually, just because it's kind of hard to aim correctly with lobber upwards. I don't know, it's just like kind of hard. And I did not get that parry there just because there was a poker chip coming up from right on top of me, so I couldn't get the parry. And yeah, just gotta keep watch over the patterns. I do get hit there, but it's not that bad as we get onto the last phase, which I always had trouble with the last phase before, but now I kind of don't anymore. But anyways, with that EX, we get that final knockout. And that is every boss in the original game beaten with Lobber and Twin Heart charm, with 3 lives left, all on expert. But don't wait, because we still have the DLC. The first boss in the DLC is Glumstone the Giant. Glumstone the Giant is a very hard boss with Lobber just because of the second and third phases. And like Brineybeard and King Dice, because King Dice I actually failed a few times because I accidentally did 5-minute clips instead of having to do the recording. It did not load. King Dice's did load, just it wasn't long enough. But Glumstone's just did not load like Brineybeard, which made it really hard. But anyways, we get to the first phase pretty fast, just because the first phase isn't too hard. Now we just try and get a decent amount of damage in, and then just staying under. And also, just dodging the gnomes is honestly pretty hard in this, so that's one of the other main things I'm trying to do. While also making sure I don't stand on like the gnome dunes coming out of the floor, and just spam EXs. Now, just kind of just shooting when they're down low, gotta aim up when they're up high. I almost get hit here from everything, but barely goes out. And now something cool you can do here is just dash immediately as you get flung, and it just dashes you down low. And it doesn't like make you go faster at all, I'm pretty sure, because he still closes his mouth just as fast. But it's just a cool thing to do. Anyways, we just kind of stack up everything on Glumstone's weird face in his stomach, I guess. Like, who the hell has a face in their stomach? I do not know. But like, okay. Now we just get some you get the parry on the bell just to make it so it's easier to land in other places. And now we basically always immediately get the parry on the bell. And I get a new EX up here if I might. And then with it, then I can just go around and hit. just automatically always aiming upwards with the lobber. I do miss that dash all the way over just because, but I get that final damage in as I'm not parrying the bells, and that is the first boss in the DLC done. And now we are on to the second, which is Moonshine Mob. Now the second boss in Inkwell Isle 4 is going to be the Moonshine Mob. And before I get into this, I noticed I didn't do the Angel Devil boss fight because it wasn't on boss list. That will probably be in a separate video just because it's so late right now that I can't do it. But that could be in a different video in the future if you guys want to see that. And the only reason I didn't do it before is that it wasn't on boss list and I kind of forgot about it. Now I keep moving on, I insta-kill that caterpillar there, and basically just keep steady aim on him from above before just keeping it. Now, the second phase is actually decently hard for this, and I just gotta just keep using Lobber and EXs just to get through it. Now just keep moving from side to side, always just keeping good aim and shooting. Now I move down, just dash once, and I do accidentally jump into her if she's like a beetle or something. Accidentally jump into like the beetle girl. I think she's a beetle. But anyways, now we just keep moving forward, always trying to keep some steady aim. Jump, go down, go into the middle thing, get some damage, dodge, go around, go to the middle thing, get some damage. Now it does take a while just because you don't get much DPS in, but it will be done pretty soon. Just because, I mean, it still does a lot of damage per hit, and you guys just get the final damage in there. Now for the snail, I just get an EX in on it, and then I just start immediately hitting the thing, get a nice EX off. Now it's kind of hard to kill the bug ball usually, but I was able to, and this took me a while just because of how hard the bug ball is to kill, and I kept getting good damage off on everything, and I always killed the bug ball pretty fast in this one, I'm pretty sure, and that's what kind of made it pretty good, because a lot of the other ones I didn't get the bug ball that fast. But anyways, now there's two bug balls on screen, which is making it kind of hard to dodge, but also trying to dodge everything and just in the moment. And it's making it go a bit longer just because I'm not able to hit the anteater mouth. But I'm getting mainly through it, getting a couple of shots off, and like slowly but surely killing. And I get that fake knockout. Then I miss that, and then I try and go up here, see if it hits from there, and it does. So then I get that final knockout, and that will be the second boss in the DLC done. And next, we will be on to the Howling Aces. Now the Howling Aces isn't really that hard, and I'm pretty sure I've done this in a separate video before. But anyways, you just basically just aim up here and you get the double shot. With a lot of bosses you can actually do that if it's just aiming upwards. And I always just get that parry, EX. I always try and EX basically as fast as I can during first phase, because you don't usually need EXs during second phase. Yeah, it is still pretty good. And my lava shots does hit the fire hydrants there, and the fire hydrants are actually decently hard to dodge, the fire hydrants, so just hard to dodge, I guess, just because you can't really hit them with lobber. Now I just always try and get them above you and just aim up, and I do almost get hit by that yarn ball there. Surprisingly, I don't though. Shoot that fire hydrant out, I get that middle parry and kill the hydrant, and it dies as we're killing the hydrant. Now I'm going to get an EX on the guy on top, and immediately go to the side. I accidentally do get hit while going to the side there, which is kind of annoying. but you keep steady aim and we get a first guy on smoke. Now, we kill the first guy on smoke, kill another, and then we kill the third, and then finally we get that final one. Now we're on to the last phase, and you just basically have to dodge. Now you always have to try and hit two, but that's just less important. Now just aim up here and always just spam the X's for the sideways phase. I always turn my head sideways for the sideways phase, but I never turn my head upside down for the upside down one. Because I can always do the upside down one on upside down, but I can never do the sideways, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I do miss that EX there, just because my plane started moving. Because I feel like in this one your plane actually kind of moves on its own. Sometimes it kind of swerves if you're on the wrong side. But I do get hit there, and now I'm down to... Now I can't get hit anymore, actually, if I want to do the challenge, because for challenge I cannot go under 3 lives. But anyways, we get that final kill in sideways phase, and now we are on to the 4th boss in DLC, Mortimer Freeze. Now we are on the 4th boss in the DLC, Mortimer Freeze here, and the first phase is actually kind of hard because it's a moving target and you have to aim upwards, which makes it absolute like hell. But we keep a steady aim, try and get that parry, and we do. And I do miss that EX just because of the moving target, and that's really hard with Lobber. Now we basically always just keep steady aiming up in a spot, and usually he'll go right above you and use his attack where he does like the 4-point snow things, and you can always just rely on that. But anyways, we start getting on to the second phase, and I do accidentally get hit at the start of it, but it's fine because I won in the end of this. Now we basically immediately dash, gotta duck under the popsicles. Now you jump and dash forward for good things, get another parry off, keep dodging, jump over dash, and this was surprisingly hard of how to dodge that because like there's like 3 things happening at once, like here too. I found the spikes part on expert really hard when I first did it, but then after when I learned basically how to do it, I found it pretty easy. Now I immediately start jumping up here, and we are on to the last phase. I basically just keep a steady aim while looking at him the entire time. Don't really worry about anything else, mainly. Maybe some of the eye attacks, just because they go pretty fast on expert. But other than that, really nothing. And I just keep immediately hitting and parrying when I can. And I do accidentally get hit by an eye attack there. Pretty unlucky. But now we just keep moving, and I get that knockout right before that happens. And we are on to Ether Winchester, or Esther Winchester, or whatever you call her name. But anyways, we're on to her. Now as we go on to Esther, which is what I'm going to call her by the way, this one was decently hard. Like, it was hard enough, but still, like, didn't take me too long. It was somewhere in the middle of how long it took, and you basically just always want to save up a full super here by just keeping full aim on her face. When you get around 4 cards, the second phase will start, or like damage enough for 4 cards, because sometimes I get parried in the first phase. But then immediately when the first safe is around to hit the ground is usually when I use my bomb. And then basically just keep steady aim, go mini if I need to when he's using the vacuum. And just keep a good aim. And now only 3 go in there, and none of them are parries, which are just kind of bad. But then I immediately use my bomb the second that the first stake comes out of the thing. Get that parry on one of the stakes. I always just stay right in front of her usually. Just keeping the regular shot just on her, because that just has the most damage. I do get that second parry there too. And then again, the last phase with me having an entirely full super, and I started off with a nice nuke. Now I just keep moving down. I actually do get hit there, get parry, and I just keep watching over it, seeing, and I use my EXs because I know that I probably won't get enough for a full super again. And just keep using my EXs the second I get them, and soon Ether Winchester will die, leaving the only boss left in this challenge being the one, the only Chef Saltbaker. Now you've heard of Saltbaker Lobber, but what about Saltbaker Lobber and Twin Heart Charm? Now, this is actually decently easy, just because I can actually lose 2 lives, unlike Lobber Saltbaker, and I already have a lot of experience on Lobber Saltbaker from when I did it in an earlier video. But it is still pretty hard, and the fact I can lose 2 lives makes it a lot easier, but still doing 10% less damage with Lobber Saltbaker makes it absolutely, that's just not fun. But anyways, we just keep moving on, dashing if we need to. Now it's just basically spamming X's in first phase, because second phase doesn't really need X's, but you can still use the X's if you really want to. Now just keep a steady aim, and always just try and jump and dodge the limes. Keep steady damage on Chef Saltbaker at all times, just like always try and hit him. Use the thing to get 2 hits instead of 1 hit. Go jumping with Lobber, because that's just like jumping with the Lobber, like right as you start jumping, immediately start shooting with Lobber. But anyways, we are on to the second phase, and remember that at the end of the laugh is when at the end of the laugh, is when the damage actually starts using. Mainly, I'm pretty sure you do less damage before the laugh ends, if I'm correct, because I've done a few things. I'm just playing a lot with Lobber Saltbaker, and I realized that even if you use like 2 EXs before the end of the laugh, the first pepper shaker doesn't even go yet. But so basically, just keep a steady aim on the bottom 2, because you can't really hit the top 2. EX when you need to. I do get hit there for the first hit that I can do in this. But we get onto the third phase, and I'm just spamming top just because it's decently easy. I use an EX hoping it hits. I think it did there, leaving it at pretty low health if I'm correct. And yes, it did. Usually it would take a few more hits, I'm pretty sure. But we are on to the last phase. Now basically just keep jumping up onto the glass parts and parrying Chef Saltbaker when you need to, EXing when you need to, basically all of that. And the EX are doing 10% less damage, I'm pretty sure Twin Heart Charm goes for EXs too. I'm not fully sure on that, but I'm pretty sure. Now I use an EX whenever I can, but I am missing a lot in this. So I just get those final EXs in though, and that is soon going to be Chef Saltbaker without it. But this last phase does take a while with 10% less damage, because it already takes a while just regularly on Lobber Saltbaker. But we are getting so close to finishing, and we finish with an EX in the Lobber shot. And that is every single boss in Cuphead beaten with Lobber and Twin Heart Charm, with 3 lives left on all of them, all on Expert. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if we get 100 likes on this video, I will beat Chef Saltbaker with Lobber and Twin Heart Charm damageless.